Welcome to another deep dive, everyone. Today we're going on a listener-requested journey
Oh, fun.
into the world of North American cryptids.
Sounds spooky.
It is. We've got tons of listener-submitted sources to dig through this time, including the website Cryptids of North America, Matt Guyver,
I've heard of that one.
and YouTube channels like Big Tug and Fire of Learning.
Excellent choices.
So yeah, we'll be unpacking some seriously fascinating folklore, from the strange to the spooky.
Can't wait.
Before we run off into the woods chasing shadows, though,
Okay.
let's take a sec to define what a cryptid even is.
Good point.
The term gets thrown around a lot.
It really does.
So what exactly are we dealing with here?
Well, cryptids, essentially,
Yeah.
are creatures whose existence hasn't been officially confirmed by science yet.
So, like,
They're in that what-if zone,
Yeah.
fueled by those anecdotal sightings and blurry photos,
oh, right.
and all those captivating stories we've heard
Yeah.
passed down through generations.
So that's your Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster, right?
Exactly. The usual suspects.
But what about the less famous ones?
Oh, they count, too.
Those are cryptids as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Cryptozoology, the study of cryptids.
Okay.
It's kind of like a detective working a case, but with only a few pieces of the puzzle.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes those pieces,
Yeah.
they lead to nothing,
Right.
a mistaken identity, maybe a hoax.
Yeah.
But sometimes, just sometimes,
Yeah.
those pieces lead to something incredible.
Like what?
Like, think of those, they thought it was fake, but it was real stories.
Oh, right. Like what?
Like the giant panda,
Uh-huh.
Once a total myth until they found it in those Chinese mountains.
Wow.
Or the megamouth shark is huge.
I've never heard of it.
This massive filter feeder,
Okay.
thought to be a fantastical sea monster until the 70s, when one got accidentally caught,
Oh, wow.
and the Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
Pure skepticism, until explorers confirmed they were roaming those islands in Indonesia.
So there's a real chance a cryptid could be real.
There is. It's what makes them so intriguing.
It really is.
So, where should we start with all these North American cryptids?
I don't even know. There are so many.
Well, one of the YouTubers you sent,
Okay.
they had a pretty interesting way of categorizing them. Cryptids I feel bad for, cryptids that scare me, and cryptids that, well, they're interesting.
That last one's pretty vague.
It is,
All
but I'm sure they're all memorable in their own way.
right, let's start with the feel bad for category.
Okay.
Who makes the list?
Well, first up, we have
Huh?
the Michigan Dogman
Oh, I've heard of this one.
from the forests of Michigan, as you might have guessed.
Yeah.
7 feet tall, with a human torso and a canine head.
Not exactly blending in.
No, not at all. Poor guy.
Is that why we feel bad for it? Just because of the way it looks?
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's also the cyclical haunting thing every 10 years,
Really?
going all the way back to lumberjack tales from the late 1800s.
So these stories are connected to lumberjack culture.
Absolutely.
I never thought about that.
Think about their environment, though.
Okay.
Dense forests, isolation, long hours, the constant threat of danger.
That's true.
It's not that surprising, really, that those circumstances would spawn stories about strange creatures.
Yeah, I could see that.
A way to cope with the fear and isolation.
Oh, like folklore.
Exactly, folklore.
Okay.
Traditional stories, passed down for generations.
Yeah.
They reflect the beliefs and anxieties and culture of the people who created them.
That's fascinating.
And these fearsome critters, as they're sometimes called,
Here's some critters. I like
they offer a unique window into the lives and experiences of those who worked in those tough environments.
So the Michigan Dogman might not just be a scary story.
Right.
It could be a window into their past.
A reflection of the challenges and the
Yeah.
fears
Okay.
faced by those early lumberjacks.
That's so interesting.
Makes you think, right?
It does. Like, are there deeper meanings behind some of these cryptids?
Oh, I think so.
Wow.
And speaking of cryptids that seem to have emerged from a specific culture,
Okay.
let's talk about the slide rock bolter.
The what?
The slide rock bolter, another feel bad for cryptid.
The name alone has me intrigued.
Well, picture this. A land-dwelling whale in Colorado.
Wait, what? A whale? In the mountains?
Yep.
That doesn't sound right.
It's not. But according to the stories,
Okay.
the slide rock bolter uses its own drool
What?
as lubrication,
No.
to slide down hillsides
Yeah.
and crush anything in its path.
Oh, it uses drool as lube.
That's what they say.
Wow. Okay, that's a new one.
That's a pretty unique way to get around.
It is. And you said this is a feel bad for cryptid.
Oh, definitely.
Why?
Imagine being a whales stuck in the mountains,
Okay.
no water in sight,
Yeah.
and your only mode of transportation is sliding down hills covered in your own slime.
I can see why we feel bad for it.
It's sad and comical at the same
It
time.
really is.
A cryptid fish out of water story.
I love it. Who else is in this category?
We've got the Loveland Frogman next.
Okay. A frogman.
4-foot-tall bipedal frog, first seen in Ohio in the 50s.
Wow.
Imagine a frog
Yeah.
trying to live in the human world,
Okay.
struggling over guardrails,
Yeah.
even wielding a wand that shoots sparks.
A wizard frog.
There's a visual for you.
That's hilarious. Okay, what else?
And finally, we have the hodag.
Hodag.
Hodag, it's got a bit of a rough origin story.
Ah.
Imagine a bunch of animal parts all mixed up.
Okay.
The head of a frog, bison horns, elephant tusks,
Okay, that sounds kind of scary, not gonna lie.
all put together to create the hodag.
It sounds like something from a bad horror movie.
Well, actually, it was a hoax.
Oh no!
Created by a group of pranksters back in the 1890s in Wisconsin.
Talk about a cryptid identity crisis.
It's true.
So it's not even real.
It's not.
That's a bummer.
But it reminds us that not all cryptids come from a genuine place. Sometimes they're just for fun.
Right.
Or to trick people.
It's sad for the hodag, though.
It is.
Even though it's fake, it's still a cool idea.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It took real creativity and imagination
Yeah, that's true.
to come up with something so bizarre and memorable.
Okay, let's move on from the feel bad for cryptids.
In a scarier category.
Scarier category. Are you ready for some cryptids that scare me?
Bring it on. I'm ready to be spooked.
All right, then let's start with a creature steeped in Native American folklore.
Cool.
The Wampus cat.
Okay.
It embodies the fear of the unknown in the Appalachian Mountains.
Oh, wow.
Tell me about it.
The Wampus cat is this fearsome hybrid.
Okay.
Half cat, half human.
What?
6 legs, glowing eyes,
Oh, that's creepy.
and a scream that echoes through the forests.
That's terrifying.
It's got deep roots in Cherokee folklore.
Adding to the mystery. I would not want to encounter that in the woods.
Me neither. It plays right into our fear of predators.
Yeah, of something lurking in the dark.
But the Wampus cat's more than just a monster.
Really?
It reflects the beliefs and values of the Cherokee people.
Oh, wow.
It shows both the beauty and danger of the natural world.
So it's connected to their culture.
Exactly. It's not just a random scary story.
That's fascinating.
It's about their understanding of the world.
Okay, let's move on to another cryptid that embodies both fear and fascination.
Oh,
The Mothman.
oh yeah, the Mothman.
And wasn't there a movie about this?
There was.
Wasn't it connected to some kind of disaster?
Yes.
I knew it.
It was first sighted in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, back in '66.
Okay.
7 foot tall, giant wings,
Wow.
glowing red eyes,
Oh, that's scary.
often seen around strange lights
Yeah.
and unexplained phenomena.
And it was seen before a disaster, right?
Yeah. There were multiple sightings in the days before the Silver Bridge collapse.
That's right.
A real tragedy.
It was.
46 people lost their lives.
So the Mothman's like a bad omen.
Some believe that.
I wouldn't want to see one.
Some think it's a supernatural warning.
Oh, wow.
Others, a creature from another dimension,
Oh, that's cool.
drawn to areas of high energy or disruption.
So many interpretations. Makes you wonder what the truth is.
It does.
Is it folklore? Is it science?
Could be both. Or maybe it's just mass hysteria,
Maybe.
fueled by misidentification and imaginations running wild.
You know, that's probably the most likely explanation.
It's always a possibility.
All right, before we go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories,
Yeah, let's not.
what other cryptids that scare me are there?
Well, let's talk about the Dover demon.
Dover demon. I don't think I've heard of this one.
This one's all about creepiness.
Okay, I like creepy. Lay it on me.
Imagine a small, gray, hairless humanoid
Okay, kind of creepy so far.
with a watermelon-shaped head
Okay, getting creepier.
and no facial features.
Okay, that's creepy enough.
That's the Dover demon.
Yikes.
Multiple sightings back in '77 in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right?
It does.
And the creepy part,
Yeah.
there were multiple independent sightings.
So it wasn't just one person seeing things.
Nope.
Wow, something strange was definitely going on there.
It was. It defies categorization,
Yeah.
multiple eyewitnesses, and it's got that chilling description.
A perfect recipe for a cryptid mystery. Okay, so what else is on this list of things that go bump in the night?
How about a creature that's fairly new to the scene,
Okay.
but it's quickly gaining notoriety?
Oh,
It's just bizarre.
tell me.
The Fresno Nightcrawler.
The Nightcrawler, the name itself is kind of scary.
It is.
Is it
Imagine looking at your security footage
Okay.
and you see two disembodied legs walking across your yard.
Hold on, disembodied legs, like just legs.
That's right, like someone's puppeteering them.
That's straight out of a horror movie.
It is.
When was this?
First sighting was caught on camera in Fresno, California in 2007.
That's recent.
It is. And there have been similar sightings in other places too.
No way, this is a real cryptid.
Well, it seems to defy logic, sparking debates about interdimensional beings and elaborate hoaxes.
Oh, wow. I might have to look into this one.
It's definitely one that captures the imagination.
Even if it's just a pair of rogue pants, I'll be keeping an eye out for it.
I will too.
All right, we've talked about feel bad for cryptids and scary cryptids.
What's next?
What about this last category? Cryptids that, well, they're interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure those will be good.
Let's dive in and see what we find.
Okay, let's start with one that seems to combine elements of two other cryptids.
Oh, really? Like what?
Bigfoot and bats. Meet the bat squatch.
Bat Squatch.
It's amazing.
The name is amazing.
It is.
What does it look like?
Imagine a Bigfoot,
Okay.
but with leathery bat wings
Bat wings on a Bigfoot, okay.
and blue fur.
Blue fur. Okay, this is getting good.
Most sightings are in the Pacific Northwest.
The Bigfoot hotspot.
Yeah,
Makes you wonder if there's a connection.
it does.
Maybe they share a habitat or it's some kind of evolutionary offshoot.
But blue fur and bat wings on a Bigfoot. That's wild.
It really is.
And some reports say it can stop car engines with its mind.
Okay, now we're getting into science fiction.
Right.
Mind control, bat wings, blue fur.
It's a cryptid designed for debate and speculation.
It really is. What else is there?
Well, let's move on to one with a more classic cryptid appeal.
All right, hit me with it.
The Beast of Bray Road.
Beast of Bray Road. Okay, never heard of it.
This one plays on our fascination with the unknown in our own backyards.
Backyards. This is getting too close to home.
It's primarily seen in Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Large, muscular, covered in dark fur.
What else?
Some describe it as werewolf-like.
Oh, wow. A werewolf.
Others say it's just a really big Bigfoot,
Okay, so it's a more traditional cryptid.
but with a local flavor.
Right. What makes this one stand out?
The number of eyewitness accounts is really compelling. Wow. Even a reporter who was sent to check it out
Yeah.
thought the witnesses were credible.
No way. So it must be real.
Well, something unusual is definitely happening in Elkhorn.
That's true. We might have to add that one to the list of places to visit.
Definitely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of cryptids so far.
We have. It's a pretty diverse bunch.
It is.
A testament to how varied they are.
But our exploration doesn't end there. We've also got some documentaries and articles to go through.
Really?
They highlight even more North American cryptids.
This just keeps getting better.
It does. Are you ready for the next level of cryptid lore?
Absolutely. Bring on the cryptids.
All right, then let's start with a creature notorious for its bad reputation.
I'm intrigued already. Who are we talking about?
The Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil. A classic.
It is.
I know this one. It haunts the Pine Barrens of New Jersey.
That's the one. What's the story behind it?
Well, they say it looks like a kangaroo with leathery wings.
A kangaroo with wings. Okay.
It has hooves and a forked tail, too.
That's a strange combination.
It is.
Oh.
And the worst part,
Yeah.
it has a piercing scream.
Oh, that's freaky.
Really chills you to the bone.
Yeah, I bet. So where did this thing even come from?
It's said to be the result of a curse.
A curse.
The 13th child of a woman who was distraught.
Oh, no.
She cried out, "Let it be a devil!"
And then her kid turned into a monster. That's awful.
Cursed child turned monster. No wonder it's such a famous cryptid.
Yeah, it really taps into our fear of the unknown.
It does. And the fact that it's in the Pine Barrens makes it even creepier. It's such a vast and desolate landscape,
Yeah.
you know? Adds to the mystery and the fear.
Oh, I get it.
It's like a creature born from the land itself.
Oh, that's a good way to put
A
it.
reflection of the harshness and the beauty of the environment.
That's deep.
It is.
Okay, so we have a cursed child in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another creature from Native American lore.
Okay.
The Wendigo.
The Wendigo. That name sounds familiar.
I think it pops up in a lot of scary stories.
You're right.
What's the deal with this one?
It comes from the folklore of the Algonquin peoples,
Oh.
mostly around the Great Lakes region.
Interesting.
The Wendigo isn't just a monster, though.
It's not. What is it then?
It's a spirit,
What?
a really bad one.
Oh no.
It possesses humans.
It possesses them.
It twists them into cannibals.
Cannibal.
It's driven by an insatiable hunger.
Oh, that's just dark. So it's not just a physical threat.
Nope. It's a spiritual one, too.
That's scary.
The Wendigo represents those really bad parts of us.
Like what?
greed,
Yeah.
selfishness,
Yeah.
the corruption of the human spirit.
So it's like a warning, right?
Exactly. It's a warning
Against becoming those things.
against losing ourselves to those baser instincts.
Okay, I'm getting chills over here.
It's a reminder of how important community and compassion are.
Yeah, that's true.
This cryptid is so deeply connected to the values of the Algonquin people, you know.
It is. It's so much more than a monster story.
It really is.
It's a story that teaches you something important.
A warning, a reflection of their understanding of the world.
It's fascinating how cryptids can do that.
It's amazing, right?
Okay, we've got a cursed child in the Pine Barrens,
Yeah.
cannibal spirit in the Great Lakes.
What else is out there?
Well, let's take a break from the supernatural for a minute.
Okay.
And talk about a creature that's more of an animal.
Interesting. Which one?
The Shunkaworakin.
The Shunkaworakin. That's a new one for me.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
It basically means carries off dogs.
Oh, no.
It's reported in Montana.
What does it look like?
They say it's wolf-like.
A dog-napping cryptid. That's terrifying for any dog owner.
I know. If I ever go to Montana, my dog's staying on a short leash.
Good plan.
Okay, enough about dogs. What's next?
How about a classic cryptid, a sea serpent?
Oh, yeah. A sea serpent.
Meet Caddy,
Caddy.
short for Cadborosaurus.
Cadborosaurus. I like it.
It's said to be in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, cool. Is this like the Loch Ness Monster?
Kind of. It's described as long and serpentine,
Okay.
with flippers and a horse-like head.
A horse head.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wild.
It is.
So this creature is part of their folklore.
It's in indigenous oral histories and modern-day sightings.
So it's not just a new fad.
Not at all.
Cryptids connect us to the past,
They really do.
to the stories of those who came before us. What else is there?
Well, how about a cryptid that's not so much scary,
Okay.
but more mischievous?
Oh, I like mischievous.
That's Pukwudgie.
Pukwudgie.
It comes from Wampanoag folklore.
Okay.
They say it inhabits the forests of Massachusetts and Delaware.
Cool.
It's small and human-like.
Okay.
Big nose, big fingers, big ears.
Sounds kind of cute.
Known for its trickster nature.
Oh, so it's like a little forest goblin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A creature of the forest.
I can see how that would be both cool and creepy.
Especially for those who depended on the forest for their livelihood.
That's true. What other creatures are we discovering today?
Let's move on to one with a very morbid hobby.
Oh no, a morbid hobby. What is it?
It's called the Pope Lick Monster.
Pope Lick Monster. That's a weird name.
It is.
Where is this one?
It haunts the area around a railroad trestle in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And it has a pretty disturbing way of dealing with trespassers.
Disturbing. How so?
It's described as part man, part goat, part sheep.
That's a creepy combination.
It is.
What does it do?
They say it lures victims onto the trestle,
The trestle.
right into the path of oncoming trains.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
It is.
What would possess a creature to do that?
Some say it's a vengeful spirit seeking revenge.
Oh wow.
Others say it's just protecting its territory.
I don't think I'll ever go near that trestle.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, what's next on our cryptid list?
Let's move on to one with a really scary howl.
Ah, howl! Tell me more.
The Ozark Howler.
Ozark Howler. The name sounds scary enough.
It is.
Where's this one from?
The Ozark Mountains. So Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma.
Okay, I've heard of the Ozarks.
They say it's large and black,
Okay.
glowing red eyes,
That's creepy.
and a howl that can be heard from miles.
That's terrifying. So what is it? Like a demonic bear?
Some descriptions say it's like a bear, others a giant cat, or even a hyena.
A hyena in the Ozarks. That's weird.
It is.
Yeah. But they all agree on the howl.
Yep. It's the common thread in every story.
Like a symbol of the Ozarks themselves, you know? Wild and unpredictable.
That's a great way to put it.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But we can't have a conversation about North American cryptids.
Without talking about the most famous one of all.
Bigfoot, the king of cryptids.
You got it.
We have to talk about the big guy.
We do.
What makes him so special?
Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch,
Right.
captures the imagination like no other cryptids.
I agree.
He represents the ultimate
What if?
what if.
Yep.
What if there's a large, intelligent primate out there that we don't even know about?
That would be huge.
He makes us question what we know about the natural world.
It's like he's a missing link
He is.
between the known and the unknown.
And remember, there's some scientific debate about his existence.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
I did.
Most scientists are skeptical, but some want to investigate further.
It's true.
So is there a chance that a big unknown primate could be out there?
There is. hidden somewhere in the vast wilderness.
That's crazy.
It's the possibility that keeps the legend alive.
That's true.
Some even think he's a descendant of Gigantopithecus.
An extinct ape, right?
Right.
That would be mind-blowing.
It would. It would completely change what we know about primate evolution.
Yeah. But for now, Bigfoot's still a myth, a legend.
He
A
is.
symbol of our love for the unknown.
Speaking of creatures blurring the line between myth and reality,
Yeah.
let's end our exploration
Okay.
with a creature that's famous all over the world,
Which one?
the chupacabra.
Ah, yes. The goat sucker. I've heard of this one. What's the story?
The chupacabra, which literally means goat sucker,
Right.
is a pretty new cryptids.
It is.
Only started appearing in the 90s in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a creature that preys on our livestock.
What? Not the livestock.
It leaves behind these awful scenes.
What do you mean?
Drained carcasses, no explanation.
A vampire cryptid. That's terrifying. But you said earlier that some sightings were just coyotes with mange?
I did.
So are all chupacabras just sick coyotes?
Well, many researchers think so, especially in the US.
Oh, okay.
But here's where it gets interesting. Some chupacabra descriptions, especially in Latin America,
Yeah.
don't match up with the mangy coyote thing.
Really? So there's more to it.
That seems like it.
What else do they say?
They describe a reptilian creature,
Oh, okay.
bipedal, with spines and glowing red eyes.
So there are multiple chupacabra mysteries.
Seems like it, each with its own clues and interpretations.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're still swimming in the world of North American cryptids,
Right, exploring those stories.
unpacking the history,
A culture.
and asking the big question, could any of these creatures actually be real?
It's a journey that keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Right, it's like walking that line between folklore, science.
And that fascination we all have with the unexplained.
Exactly. Before the break, we were discussing those eyewitness accounts.
Oh, right. And how important it is to be a little skeptical.
Exactly. But even with the most believable witnesses, there's still that question.
Of what they're actually seeing.
Yeah. So what are some of the explanations for these cryptid sightings?
Well, there's a whole bunch of theories.
Oh, I bet. Some probably more believable than others.
Definitely. Some are pretty down to earth.
Okay, let's start with those.
All right, so myth identifying animals. That's a big one.
Like what kind of animals get mistaken for cryptids?
Well, a bear in the dark, you know?
Yeah.
It could easily look like something scarier.
Oh, right, I can see that.
Or a dog with mange.
Oh yeah, I've seen those pictures. They look rough.
They do. It
Yeah.
could look like a hairless reptilian creature, you know?
A chupacabra?
Exactly. And owls.
Owls? Really?
Think about it. Big eyes, silent flight.
Oh yeah, they can be pretty freaky.
They can. They definitely spark some wild ideas.
So we're basically talking about seeing something familiar but through a lens of fear.
Yeah, or expectation.
Right. Turning the ordinary into something extraordinary.
Exactly. Just how our brains work, you know? We look for patterns, we look for explanations.
And when we see something new, something we don't understand,
Our imagination takes over.
especially in a spooky setting.
Oh, absolutely. It's like those optical illusions.
Right, where you see one thing and then it changes.
Just by changing your perspective.
That's a great way to put it. But it's not always about what we see. What
No, you're right.
about sounds?
Oh, sounds can be just as deceiving.
How so?
Think about a fox's scream
Yeah, those are pretty creepy.
or a loon's call.
Oh yeah, those are eerie.
Even the wind whistling through the trees.
Right. It can all sound like something else.
Something more sinister,
So it's our senses messing with us.
playing tricks on us, especially when we're ready to believe.
In the extraordinary.
Exactly. But what about the cases where it's not a simple misidentification?
Yeah, what about the really strange ones?
Well, there are some more out there theories.
Okay, give me the wildest one.
Interdimensional beings.
Interdimensional beings. Okay, now we're talking.
This one comes up a lot with UFOs and paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that these cryptids aren't just animals we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
They're creatures from other dimensions,
Whoa.
able to shift between realities, you know?
That just pop in and out of our world.
Exactly. Like visitors.
That's like a crazy thought.
It is. It's often used to explain sightings that just don't make sense.
Like what?
Creatures that disappear or have powers.
Oh, wow. It's like something out of a comic book. But why would they come here?
That's the $1 million question.
Right. Are they just tourists, or is something else going on?
That's where the conspiracy theories start.
Oh yeah, I bet there's some wild ones.
Some say they're here to help us.
Oh.
Others say they're studying us or manipulating us or even planning an invasion.
It's like the X-Files.
It is. It's fun to think about, even if it's probably not true.
Definitely. Okay, so misidentified animals, interdimensional beings. What else?
Well, this one's especially for cryptids with a long history.
Like a mythology connection.
Exactly. Psychic projections.
Psychic projections. Wait, so you're saying these creatures aren't real?
Well, not the traditional sense.
Okay, explain this one to me.
The theory says that certain places, objects, even stories, they hold kind of psychic energy, like a buildup of emotions, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
And that energy, it can take on a physical form.
So, like, if enough people believe in a creature, it could become real.
It's a blend of psychology, folklore, even quantum physics.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. But it is a really interesting idea.
It is. Makes you think about the power of belief.
Right. Like, do our beliefs actually shape the world around us?
That's a question for the ages.
It is. All right, let's move on to a theory that's a little more scientific.
Okay, how about relict hominoids?
Relict hominoids, that sounds complicated.
It's not that bad, basically. It means some cryptids, the ones that look like apes or humanoids,
Right.
could be surviving groups of ancient hominids.
Like creatures we thought were extinct.
Exactly. Like living fossils hanging on in isolated parts of the world.
So, like, Bigfoot could be a descendant of Gigantopithecus?
That's the idea. Or the Yeti could be a Neanderthal.
That's amazing.
It's a possibility that gets both scientists and cryptid fans excited.
I can see why. It makes you realize that evolution is still happening.
Right. And there could be all sorts of surprises out there.
That we haven't discovered yet.
Exactly. But for now, these relict hominoids are just a theory.
Right, a scientific guess.
But it's a fun one.
And it is. It's what makes cryptozoology so interesting, right?
Exactly. It pushes us to think beyond what we know.
It opens up all these possibilities.
Makes us question everything.
And it sparks our imaginations.
That's what it's all about.
We've talked about cryptids as cultural symbols.
As embodiments of our anxiety.
And mysteries waiting to be solved.
But we also have to remember the hoaxes.
Oh, yeah, the Hodag. That was a good one.
It was. Hoaxes can be tricky, you know.
How so?
Well, they can make it harder for serious researchers to be taken seriously.
Right, because it makes the whole field look less credible.
Exactly. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
they can also make people more curious.
Oh, I see. Like, it gets people talking about cryptids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it encourages healthy skepticism.
So even a hoax can be a good thing.
In a way, yes. It reminds us to think critically.
To not just believe everything we hear.
Exactly. To look for evidence, to consider different perspectives.
That's a good lesson no matter what we're talking about.
It is. And speaking of questioning what we see and hear,
Yeah.
let's talk about eyewitness accounts.
Oh, yeah, those are a big part of cryptozoology.
They are. They're the starting point for so many investigations.
But how much can we trust them?
That's a tough question. We have to remember that they're subjective.
What does that mean?
It means they're filtered through the person's perception, their memory.
Oh, so it's not just about what they saw.
Exactly. Their emotions, their beliefs, their culture, it all plays a role.
So just because someone says they saw something,
It doesn't mean it's true.
right, it could be a misidentification, an illusion, even a lie.
Exactly. We have to be careful.
So how do we know which accounts are worth taking seriously?
That's where the detective work comes in.
Okay, what do you mean?
Real researchers look for patterns. Yeah.
Like similarities in the stories.
Exactly. And they look for evidence from other sources.
Okay, so it's not just about one person's word.
No, it's about building a case, like a detective would.
Gathering clues, evaluating the evidence.
That's it.
Wow, cryptozoology is more complex than I thought.
It is. It's not just about chasing monsters.
It's about critical thinking,
Research skills.
a healthy dose of skepticism,
It's a blend of folklore, science, and culture.
a way to explore the boundaries of what we know.
And what we don't know.
Exactly. It's pretty cool, actually.
It is. It shows that there's still mystery in the world.
Even in this age of technology and information overload.
There are still things out there that we can't explain.
That's a good point. I think we've covered enough for this segment.
We have, but our journey's not over yet.
That's right. When we come back, we'll be diving into the theories.
The explanations for these elusive creatures.
From the mundane to the mind-blowing.
Stay tuned for more cryptid mysteries.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been trekking through the world of North American cryptids.
unraveling their stories.
Yeah, their cultural significance.
And that big question.
Right, the one we all want answered.
Could any of these creatures actually be real?
Before the break, we were talking about those eyewitness accounts.
The foundation of cryptid lore, right?
Exactly. But even when you have a believable witness,
There's still the question of
what they're actually seeing.
exactly. And there are so many theories out there.
Oh, I bet. From the totally normal to the completely crazy.
Oh, you got it.
So let's start with the more down-to-earth explanation.
Okay. Misidentified animals, that's a big one.
Right, like what kind of animals get mistaken for cryptids?
Well, a bear in low light,
Yeah.
Easy to mistake it for something much scarier.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Or a dog with mange.
Oh, those poor things.
Right. They look pretty rough.
They do. Could definitely see how someone might think it's something else entirely.
Yeah, like a hairless reptilian creature,
A chupacabra.
Exactly. And owls.
Owls? Really?
Think about them, those big eyes, silent flight.
Oh, yeah, they can be a little spooky.
Right. People see them and their imaginations run wild.
So it's all about our brains, right? Filling in the blanks, making sense of what we see.
It's how we're wired, We look for patterns, we look for explanations.
So when we see something new, something we don't understand,
Especially in a setting that already has us on edge.
our minds just go to those fantastical places.
There's like those optical illusions,
Yeah, where you see one thing and then it changes.
Just by shifting your perspective.
It's amazing how easily our senses can be tricked.
They really can. Especially when we're already expecting to see something unusual.
Okay, but what about the cases where it's more than just a simple mistake?
Right, the ones that really make you wonder.
What about the really out there theories?
Well, one that gets a lot of attention is the idea of interdimensional beings.
Interdimensional beings. Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, this one's popular in the UFO and paranormal communities.
Right. It's like they're not just animals.
They're creatures from other dimensions.
That's wild. And they can, travel between worlds.
Exactly. They can appear and disappear.
Wow, it's like a sci-fi movie. Why would they want to come here, though?
That's the big mystery.
Right. Are they just curious? Or is there something more going on?
That's where the conspiracy theories come in.
Oh, I bet there are some good ones.
Some say they're benevolent, trying to help us.
Okay, that's nice.
Others say they're studying us, manipulating us, or even planning an invasion.
Like in those alien movies, that's a little scary.
It is. But it's fun to think about.
It is. Okay, so we've got misidentified animals, interdimensional beings. What else?
Well, there's another theory that's often used to explain cryptids with a strong folklore connection.
Like creatures that have been around in stories for a long time?
Exactly. Psychic projections.
Psychic projections. So you're saying these creatures aren't real at all?
Not in the physical sense, no.
Okay, how does this one work?
The theory is that certain places or objects or even stories, they can hold psychic energy.
Like a residual haunting.
Kind of, but it's more about the energy of belief,
Yeah, I can see that.
And that energy, it can manifest as a physical form.
So the more people believe in a creature, the more real it becomes.
It's a blend of psychology, folklore, even a bit of quantum physics.
Okay, that's a lot to take in.
It is. But it's a fascinating concept.
It really makes you think about the power of our minds, right?
It does. Can our thoughts and beliefs actually shape the world around us?
That's a big question.
It is. All right, let's shift gears to a theory that's a bit more grounded in science.
Okay, I'm ready.
How about relic hominoids?
Relic hominoids, that sounds like a mouthful.
It's basically the idea that
Yeah.
some of these cryptids, especially the ones that look like apes or humans,
Right.
could be surviving populations of ancient hominids.
So like creatures we thought were extinct.
Exactly. Like living fossils hanging on in isolated pockets of the world.
Wow, that's incredible. Like Bigfoot could be a descendant of Gigantopithecus.
Right. Or the Yeti could be a Neanderthal.
That would rewrite history.
It would. It's a possibility that has both scientists and cryptid enthusiasts excited.
I can see why. It would mean that evolution still has some surprises in store for us.
Exactly. That there might be creatures out there that we thought were long gone.
That's so cool.
It is. But for now, these relic hominoids remain hypothetical.
Right, still just a theory.
But it's a fun one to consider.
It is. I think that's what I love about cryptozoology.
What's that?
It pushes us to think outside the box.
To consider all the possibilities.
To never stop questioning and exploring.
To keep that sense of wonder alive.
Exactly. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from the strange to the spooky to the downright mind-boggling.
We've explored the myths, the legends,
the science, and the speculation.
but most importantly, we've kept our minds open to the possibilities.
That's the spirit of cryptozoology, right?
Exactly. So, to all our listeners out there,
Keep searching, keep questioning, and keep exploring.
you never know what you might find lurking in the shadows.